Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. Begin with our top stories. 70% of environmental journalists face threats, attacks, and pressure, with 44 kills in 15 years. This was revealed today by the National Syndicate of Journalists in Cameroon on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day in Douala, during which the journalists called for an end to targeted assassinations amid security force intimidation. And we take you to the town of Maroua, equally where there has been trapped in a heat wave in recent weeks, the situation which has affected the population of these parts of the country. Many deaths from these high temperatures have already been recorded across the city. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. 70% of journalists face threats, attacks, and pressure, with 44 killed in the past 15 years. This was revealed today by the National Syndicate of Journalists in Cameroon on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day, that was observed this May 3, 2024 in Douala, during which the journalists called for an end to targeted assassinations amid security force intimidation. Gladys Ambodibang has the rest of that story.
In a harrowing scene witnessed this May 3, 2024, on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day, journalists belonging to the National Syndicate of Journalists in Cameroon, SNGC, were chased by security forces as they prepared to make a declaration at the government square in Bonanjo. Adorned in black attire while brandishing placards, they stood as a solemn reminder of the constant dangers they encounter daily. The SNGC disclosed alarming statistics revealing that approximately 70 environmental journalists have fallen victims to attacks, threats, and other forms of pressure due to their work, with a staggering 44 journalists killed over the past 15 years. Amidst the turmoil, the syndicate adamantly called for an end to targeted assassinations of journalists, emphasizing the absence of true press freedom in Cameroon.
Il n'y a pas de liberté de la presse. C'est ce foisonnement qui nous donne l'impression qu'il y a la liberté de la presse, mais elle n'existe pas.
Proud to the unsettling manifestations, a workshop convened urging journalists to deepen their involvement in educating the population about the critical importance of environmental conservation.
Journalists live in the same planet with other people, other population. Journalists be the one who have the power of information, and you can use this power to educate people about what is climate change, how to adapt to climate change, and the population have to question public policies.
Fact that don't allow journalists to work properly, to give good information, and then to do their duty in the society. So we need to fight about it, because fighting about it is fighting for a better society. Fighting about it is taking care of the environment. Fighting about it is, giving journalists opportunity to bring back good information and to take care of the society.
The National Syndicate of Journalists in Cameroon revealed it has trained law enforcement officers and judges on freedom of expression, as they are equally actors, and plan to continue in that light to protect journalists in Cameroon.
Meanwhile, journalists of the Douala chapter of the Cameroon Association of English-speaking journalists, they have been drilled on how to handle appealing environmental reports that could intimidate or initiate a change in Cameroon. Experts regret that journalists were not doing enough to contribute in environmental protection and said it is time they fully engaged to bring a meaningful change to the society. They were talking at a workshop that held at the Douala Linguistic Center to bring an insight on this year's theme of the World Press Freedom Day, Press for the Planet, Journalism in the Face of Environmental Crisis. Let's have a listen to WWF Country Representative Nen Ononino and WWF Communications Manager Peggy Manga Fidelis.
We are happy that this year theme of World Press Freedom Day is on environment because it reminds us of the environmental crisis the Earth is facing because of biodiversity loss, deforestation, pollution, and climate change. So it's also remind us of the importance of journalism in really putting together compelling and inspirational stories that are important to educate the population, to raise the awareness of decision makers, but also really put at the level of the public in general all the facts and figures coming from the field, coming from frontline agents, from the local communities and indigenous people knowledge, and from the support provided by the other stakeholders.
The fact that journalists do not show very keen interest in anything that concerns the environment is already a very big problem, because journalists are supposed to be the relay. They are the ones who are supposed to transform the big data, the big ideas into very understandable scripts and videos for the public to be able to understand and take action. And if they are not helping in doing this, then they are contributing in no small way to worsening the environmental crisis that we are facing. You know, the world is facing serious crisis. The world temperature is getting hotter, and the hotter it gets, the greater the risks we face as humanity, because if the temperature rises to 2 degrees, the northern pole's ice would melt and the sea levels will rise, and a city like Kribi will be inundated, will be wiped out. So those are the kind of risks we are facing in terms of environment. So we expect our journalists to be the precursor for action to prevent this from happening.
And we take you to the town of Maroua in the far north region of Cameroon, where the town, as of recent, has been trapped in heat wave in recent weeks, a situation which has affected the population of these parts of the country. Many deaths from these high temperatures have already been recorded across the city. More in the full story with our reporter, Saleh Sharifa.
For the past weeks, the city of Maroua in the far north region of Cameroon has been witnessing.
We are talking about extreme heat waves in the Maroua, the far north region of Cameroon, and many deaths from these high temperatures have already been recorded across the city. The situation has already affected the population of these parts of the country. Our reporter, Saleh Sharifa, has been talking with the population affected by extreme heat waves of recent in this part of the country.
Massangam, a locality in Massangam, nestled within the known division of the West region, is gripped by unease after an incident on April 24 marked what was supposed to be a routine registration process for national identity cards and the electoral list. Mbatu Adiro, the victim of the altercation, vividly remembers the event of that fateful day, emphasizing the gravity of the situation. I was waiting in line with others to register when a council police agent arrived and began questioning me asking me of causing disorder, I quickly stepped back to avoid trouble. Suddenly, 23 members of the CDU party surrounded me, beating me with clubs and other objects, injuring me on the head. I was bleeding, and the gendarmerie commander transported me to hospital for treatment. The decision to designate Massangam, despite its remote and landlocked status as a registration hub, aims to facilitate accessibility to national identity cards for the local population. However, concerns loom large as the intended benefits seem elusive. The process of obtaining an identity card necessitates several documents, including the certificate of nationality, which can only be acquired in Fumbot. Arrangements have been made to ensure the necessary documents are obtained, meaning that no identity card can be issued without the certificate of nationality. This practice has been ongoing for several years. We were surprised when members of the CDU started blocking roads and urging administrative authorities not to relocate the equipment used to produce the cards, and now bringing the process closer to them. Otherwise, they still won't have the opportunity to obtain their cards. Registration on the electoral list is set to resume next week in Massangam under the watchful eyes of administrative authorities, political party representatives, and law enforcement officers in an attempt to restore confidence and ensure a smooth registration process.
And that was a report by Gladys Ambo-Dibang on the return to normalcy in Massangam in Fumbot West region of Cameroon after recent tensions in that part of the country. Some over 25 police officers have been drilled on new methods of identifying and destroying any form of explosive devices that have become so rampant in troubled regions of Cameroon, sending them out yesterday. After 1 month of special training, they were urged to make use of their experience to better protect Cameroonians. More with High Censure.
An alert of a case of kidnapping here at the Yaoundé City Mall. The Special Operation Unit immediately takes action, deploying forces to the scene of the incident. Meters away from the major spot, the forces of law and order strategize, taking covers to localize the kidnappers and the victims. All tactical dispositions taken as they make their way into the mall in different angles, blocking all possible escaping channels. The culprits neutralize their guns and other weapons taken by the police as they rescue the helpless victims. It appears so real, but this is just a simulation of how the unit tackles cases of hostage-taking.
Firstly, we secure the main entrance by a drone. The drone gives us the situation, the general situation about the main entrance. After that, the tactic commander, who is the commander of the unit, give the instruction for the intervention groups to enter and to neutralize the terrorists.
The special forces will also proceed with the identification of any explosive device within the scene and technically carrying them out of the business center for immediate destruction.
And we take you to the far north region of Cameroon, precisely in Maroua, where the population have been trapped in heat waves in recent weeks, a situation of which has affected the population of these parts of the country. Saleh Sharifa tells us more.
For the past weeks, the city of Maroua in the far north region of Cameroon has been witnessing the scorching period. In a press release that dates April 29, 2024, the Lamido of Maroua, Abdoulaye Rima Bakari, shares some life-saving measures to his population. The city and its inhabitants are suffocating under the severe heat waves, which have been raging for more than 2 months already. Imagine we are at 45 degrees Celsius. The heat wave is just so much. We are tired of the whole situation. People in their old age cannot bear it anymore. We bury them every day as they keep dying. Temperatures in this locality in the far north of the country are around 45 degrees Celsius. For those who have mouth to feed, they describe this as a nightmare. It is a tough one for us. We don't even know how to go about our daily activities. People are even exposed to diseases. Faced with the phenomenon, health professionals recommend maximum hydration. In this case, the population is called on to avoid any contact with the sun as from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And most importantly, practice the habit of drinking water, whether you are thirsty or not. The situation is the same in several other cities in the far north region where blistering heat generally prevails.
And following recent figures released by Elections Cameroon Elecam on May 1, 2024, the coastal region has released at 80,072 new voters out of a projected total of 136,684 voters. These numbers were made public during the second session of the platform of stakeholders in the electoral process. This day, the opposition leaders who were present at the Constitution have expressed dissatisfaction with these figures and have raised concerns and grievances. They are calling on the population to be more intensified for the registration before the 31st of April 2024. Let's get the reaction of Dorothy Joma, member of the Electoral Council.
We have been encouraging all those who are not yet registered to follow the program of our council branches to register. We expect that voter registration will continue intensified until the 31st of August.
We take on the rendezvous, a cultural weekend rendezvous. It is a weekend already, as it is customary every Friday evening. We're giving you more cultural updates on how the population or people will be spending their weekend in Douala, Yaoundé, and anywhere across Cameroon. We're having signals the other way that we can't continue with this edition of the prime time newscast on Canal, the International, in the English language, and that's how we saw it. Take another rendezvous, same time on Monday. Good night.